Hi friends, welcome to Sunflower Hill. I'm Tina and I'm a single mum homesteading in Southern Australia in Victoria. Welcome if you're new and welcome back if you've been here before. Today I'm just going to do a quick little tour of 5 things that are doing well in my winter veggie growing food run up in my chicken emporium. So run 1, the top run, the most to the east, has just become my winter growing run, and run 4 has become my summer growing run. The 2 runs in the middle are just for growing chicken feed, and I will do another video on that actually very soon on how I'm using the emporium a bit differently. But for now, let's just have a bit of a look at what's doing well in here, because sometimes it can just be a bit of a slog and it's good to stop and look at what's actually thriving. In my climate, there's a lot that you can grow over winter. You can actually feed yourself in fresh veggies all winter. If you're in a much colder climate, you may not be able to do that. Or if you're in a tropical climate, winter might be the time when you grow things like tomatoes that grow well here in summer. But I'm in a temperate climate, sort of cool temperate, and we have a lot of things that grow well over winter. So things like broad beans, brassicas, lettuce, leeks, onions, garlic, lots of those sorts of things do really, and snow peas do really, really well over winter. So I'm just going to show you my top 5 things that are just going gangbusters at the moment. Let's go and have a look at them. Okay, one thing that is doing super well at the moment is these broad beans. Now I have a plan to use that thing as a kind of trellis, as a support system for them. I need to do that. You can see in here, oh, and there's a slug. Chookies! I have a plan of attack for the slugs, but I haven't got there yet. One thing you can do for slugs is put out beer traps, and I might do a video on that soon. But at the moment, these are growing really well. Now, I'm just going to show you a little trick about broad beans. I planted these in March, so they grow pretty quickly. They're winter hardy. They're a fantastic winter crop. If you don't like them one way, you might like them another way. And I'm just going to show you one way that you might actually like broad beans. Even if you think you hate them, you might like this. So the new leaves here, you just snap them off and eat them as a salad. They are beautiful. They're really fresh. They're sort of like pea tendrils, you know, like at the end of pea plants. Really nice. So as these grow, you can eat them like that, or you can wait for them to get the broad beans. When they've actually got broad beans on them, I will do a video on maybe getting you to like broad beans a bit more than you do. Some people I love broad beans anyway, but there are a couple of things that if you do differently, you may come to like broad beans even if you don't. So first thing on my list that's doing well at the moment is the broad beans. They're thriving, which I always like. So broad beans are quite large plants and they do grow quite floppy like this if you don't get them trellised up pretty early. They won't grow up a trellis, but they need support. And my plan, which I need to do very quickly right now because these guys are really going gangbusters, is to grab this bit of solid wire, and I'm going to lay this horizontally along the ground, and not along the ground, at about this height, and the plants can grow up through that and that grid and to be supported by that. So I will do that very soon. But the broad beans are thriving at the moment. Look at the size of that. And the flowers are absolutely beautiful. I'll insert a picture of the flowers. They're absolutely gorgeous flowers. I put pictures of them on Facebook a few years ago and said, who knows what flower this is? And people were quite shocked to learn that it was broad beans. Okay, the next plant that is doing super, super well, or the next vegetable at the moment, is these beautiful leek plants. And these are, they're not technically perennial leeks. They're not what's sold as perennial leeks, but I grow them perennially. Okay, so these leeks are growing super well. I didn't plant. They are left over from last year. They were completely destroyed by snails last year. I didn't really get the chooks in here soon enough, and they absolutely destroyed the plants. They destroyed everything I had, but this is how tough leeks are. They obviously had enough down the bottom. left behind to grow new leeks. So I could pick that and eat it now. I'm not going to. I'm just going to let them grow a little bit longer, for a bit longer, and see if they get a bit bigger. They're not huge, and if they don't, I'm going to let them go to flower, and I'll get those little baby leek plants again for next season, and I'll have tons and tons of leeks. These guys grow new plants on the plant. So have a look at the leeks video. I will actually link that at the end. Have a look at that video because it's pretty amazing that you can grow leeks without growing leeks. They grow themselves. So I have a few more over there. I have been weeding. Just need to get back and do some more over there, but they're growing super well. So leeks, second thing that's doing extremely well at the moment, and zero effort planting those. They planted themselves. Another thing that's absolutely zero effort and that is growing itself at the moment is these mustard plants. So these I definitely sowed a couple of seasons ago. I don't know if it was last season or the one before, but they self-seed beautifully, and what gorgeous plants. Aren't they lovely plants? They do have quite a bit of a mustardy sort of bit of heat to them. So there's something that you would cook with, sort of in the same sort of way that you'd cook with Asian greens, or you add them to salads for a bit of a spicy kick. But they're the hardiest plants, especially these purple ones. Really pretty plants and really, really good snackable sort of plants. And just to really reinforce how hardy and self-seeding they are, these guys are just up in this end bit of this run, which hasn't even been cultivated. So they've just popped up. I will probably mulch around those and give them a bit of a nicer situation, but they've just grown here. They've just popped up, and because I know what they are and I've had them before, I've just let them go. So it's another one of those things that is really will naturalize itself very easily, is mustard greens. Not to be confused with seed mustard. That's a different thing. That's also pretty hardy, but that's in the brassica family. These are different. These are mustard greens. I'll find the botanical name if I can and put that on the screen. Something else that is predictably doing quite well at the moment is the brassicas. These guys here are actually small, they grow small individual florets, so I'm going to pick that soon. And if you come in here, you can have a look and you can see that there are lots and lots more florets growing all down this stem. And when I pick this main leader here, which I'll do now, then all of these will now take off. So this is not just one big head of broccoli. This is a plant that grows this kind of smaller heads and multiple smaller heads. So this is a fantastic kind of broccoli. I've also got the other brassicas I've got growing well here. There's cauliflowers. These are doing really well. These are further behind. I just planted them later, but these cauliflowers are coming along. I've left more space between those, and here I can't help myself weeding. I'm a weeding-aholic, so I just have to weed. But all of these brassicas through here are doing really well. So they are really beautiful plants. Broccoli, I find them beautiful, and this one's getting a nice little head on it. One over the back, they're all doing really well. These ones that get small multiple heads are probably easier to get a harvest from. You certainly get a harvest quicker and over a much longer period of time. So I like these. I also like the ones that have a big head on them, but these are really good. Now, I know I said 5, but I have to give these guys an honourable mention, and that's the bok choy. Bok choy are one of those things that grow very quickly, and as you saw in Perry Cho's video, which I'll also link here, They are all the Chinese greens are amazing, easy to grow and grow really well through winter. You can get huge harvests, and they're very, very productive, easy growing veggie plants over winter. Really nice. So honourable mention goes to the bok choy. And another honourable mention is to this lettuce here. This was in the bus greenhouse, and it did quite well there, and then it just got to a point where whiteflies started to get it. I think there's not enough airflow, and it doesn't get enough cold, because when I put this out here in this pot maybe a week or two ago, it was green, and now it's turned this beautiful bronzy red colour. I think it was probably a red lettuce all along, and it just needed the cold. So lettuce is something that's good to grow in winter. They're actually very cold hardy, and they need the cold to get the good flavour and obviously colour. So this lettuce gets an honourable mention. Okay, so the number one king of growing at the moment in the winter run is these guys, the daikon radishes. Daikons are one of those things, you plant them once, you've got daikons forever. Now, I'm also going to put daikons through the next run, which I'm about to lock the chooks out of, as chicken food, because it is absolutely excellent chicken food. They love it. It also breaks up the soil, so it keeps the soil nice and loose and friable. It has a long, like daikon radishes can be, I'm going like this. My longest daikon was probably about that and that thick. And the beauty in the soil is that if you cut the plant off, the root will sit there and decompose in the soil, and it creates these beautiful air pockets, and it breaks up the soil naturally without you having to do too much work. So daikons are a great thing to grow. I do eat them. Mainly they just grow themselves. They're not ready to eat yet. I'm pulling this out. I'll give this to the chook. This is actually bolting to seed at the moment, but I had to include the daikons because they thrive. They thrive. And they always do well. They're a really good winter crop, really worth planting if you like radishes. Daikons have a very mild flavour. This root is not remotely ready to eat, but you can see they have a long white root, and they have a very mild radishy flavour. So you can actually use them in salads, or you can actually cook them. I roast them in the oven when I do roast veggies. They are really nice like that. So daikons are really worth growing, and they are something that is absolutely thriving at the moment. They just grow mental. They seeded themselves here. I only have a patch of them, not because I planted a patch here, but because I've weeded them out from everywhere else. So daikon radishes, if you want something that's really easy, really self-sufficient, give them a crack. All right. Okay, friends, that's about it for today. This was just a quick one, but the point of it was to have a look at what's doing well. And there's several reasons why you actually might want to do that at your place as well, because it's actually a very useful thing to do. It's a very practical thing to do. Apart from going out and finding things that you can take in and eat with you, like I'm going to do with this guy, it does two valuable things. One is it reminds you of what is actually doing well. And particularly in my situation where I'm on my own, I've got the kids and I'm trying to grow food for all of us and look after the farm and grow plants. It can be very easy to get caught up in just what is still needs to be done, and I have lists and lists and lists, so I really do end up focusing on, I need to do that, I haven't done that, and it becomes a bit of a negative mindset thing. So stopping, having a look at what's growing well, and also using what's growing, it encourages you to actually pick and use. Like this, if I'd left this another week or something, this wouldn't have been as nice. So it's a really good thing to do, to wander around and have a look at what's doing well at your patch, like I've done today. So, you know, it's a mindset thing. Keeps you focused, it keeps you moving forward, it keeps you feeling like you're succeeding, and that is important. Even if it's only succeeding at things that grow themselves, that's important. The other reason to do that is to identify things that do grow really easily and really well for you in your climate. My climate is probably different to a lot of you who are watching. You may live in an arid climate, you may live in a tropical climate, or a much colder climate. And the things that grow very easily for you might be completely different to what I've just shown you here. And these, mind you, this is winter. The things that grow easily in summer might be a bit different here. Things like tomatoes grow very well. But it helps you identify your baseline of things that will provide you with food with minimal work and minimal effort. And that is really, really valuable if you're actually looking to grow food, to save money, to have healthy food for you and your family or your friends or you and or if your animals. My chickens in particular benefit, but all my animals benefit from the food that I grow. To identify those baseline things that grow very easily with very minimal work and effort on your part. Things like these daikons, which, you know, they grow with no effort, and the leeks, things that come up by themselves. Things like the bok choy where I put them in, or the broad beans where I put them in once and then I forget and I come back and they're doing things. Those sorts of things are incredibly valuable, and things that self-seed themselves particularly, or that you can make perennial like the leeks particularly. So go ahead and identify those things. Walk around and have a look at what things are doing super well for you really easily with very little effort, and particularly the ones that just keep reseeding or keep popping up by themselves. So you may, of course we all want to try new things. We want to keep our interest in food growing going. But those things, if you can do those things on top of that base layer of staples, so that you know that you always have something in the garden that you can eat, something you can go out and grab, regardless of whether those new things turn out to be right for your climate and your situation or not, you always have things that are reliable. That is incredibly valuable. So it's probably worth thinking of your food growing in those two tiers, that base layer of things like base load power supply. You have that base load of things that are reliable, that you will always have food you can walk out and grab. And then on top of that, you have another layer of things where you're trying out new things, new interesting things that, keep interest in what you're doing, and also interest in what you're eating. All right, so I hope that's been useful for you and interesting. I would love it if you guys can subscribe down below, and I would really love it, and please give this video a like if you can. That all helps me, completely free. And also please share with me what your baseload plants are. What are the things that grow super easily, little or no effort, or even seed and grow themselves in your climate? I'd be really interested to know, and we can have a little chat about that in the comments. So just down below, comment and let me know what grows really well in your climate, what your baseload plants are. All right, thank you all so much for joining me. And I do always reply to comments. It sometimes takes a few days because I am outrageously busy, but I will always reply to you. So it's Huru from me, Huru, and it's Huru from Huru. See you soon.
You have a run?